everybody. It is me. It is me. It is DJC. It's D to the J with the roll away, and it is that time again. It is now 2 o'clock Eastern time, and it is time for Sex and Marriage Part 2. Man, I got to tell y'all what, Part 1 was so great. Over 1,900 views. I want to thank everybody for that. We've had now, close to 2,000. Let me get some invites sent out real quick here, guys. Hang on, and I apologize for that. Getting everybody invited here. All right, let me search. Okay, all right, I got my guys invited, got everybody invited, and as you guys come in, apologize for the delay there. All right, so we're going to get into this pretty quick because I have a feeling I'm going to use every bit of the whole hour. And again, we're on CP Sunrise today, and we're also on www.letgo radio. So as you guys come in, I'm going to say hi to you. Hi, Michelle, how are you? Thank you guys for joining me. As soon as your names pop up, I'm going to, greet you guys as you come in. All throughout this, as I said in last week's show, if you have questions or you have something you want to ask me, go ahead and do so. I will do my best to answer all of them. But we've got a lot of things to cover. And if you thought last week was good, I'm gonna swing for the fences this week because I'm gonna cover. The reason I'm doing a part 2 is because I'm gonna cover some things that I really didn't get a chance to cover in last week's show. So I'm giving everybody a couple of minutes to get in because I know this one's going to pick up quick. We had about 16 to 17 people last week, and I'm telling you, this thing has exploded, and I decided to do a part 2. So just to recap, we talked a lot about marriage itself and the keys to communication. We talked about marriage is not just about sex. Marriage is about communication and compromise and understanding. It's not that, one of the big things and a lot of the compliments and comments I got on it was that marriage should be equal. Okay. And it should on both parts for the man and the woman. Again, and I'm going to go in the word a little bit. So don't, discredit me for that, but this is what works for me. If it doesn't work for you, I understand. I'm going to go ahead and let you know now. This show is for mature audiences only. We're going to talk about some deep stuff. If you don't want to talk about sex and marriage or you don't want to hear about it, now is the time to back out of this show because it's going to be one of those shows that's going to get to the point, and it's going to be one of those shows that's going to hit home for a lot of people. All right, so I'm going to start basically again by saying these are my opinions. Some people are going to agree with them. Some people are not, and that's okay. Okay, I'm going to give you ideas on what I believe, and I'm going to try to see it from both sides. Okay, I'm going to try to put a different perspective on this to where it's not just one person. It's not just the man view. I'm trying to look from the woman view as well, or the wife view as well, but I can't do that because I'm not a woman. Last time yeah, I'm good. Okay, so let me just go there. All right, so let's talk about marriage in a nutshell. All right, some people say that marriage is just a piece of paper. Okay, now if you want to get technical, all right, marriage is a union between man and woman. Now some of that has changed in the laws now. Some of that has changed in where we are in modern times today. There have been a lot of new rules added, okay? There are marriages, there are same-sex marriages, there are marriages between man and woman, there are, I believe, unions is what you would, I'm not sure if that's the proper term, but look, I'm going to say this. when I'm talking about marriage, I am talking about a marriage between a man and a woman, and that is what I'm going to focus on. Not trying to disrespect anybody, okay, or anything. I'm just saying that is what I'm going to focus on. So marriage in a nutshell is, let me figure out what's going on here. Got a little bit of trouble with let go. There we go. So marriage in a nutshell is a union between a man and a woman, where two become one, where both should be treated the same, okay, as a whole. What I mean by that is the man is not over top of the woman, and the woman is not over top of the man. Let's get that out first. I know for a fact that there can be issues between, oh, she's going to submit to me, she's going to do what I say. All right? If you have that attitude in marriage, you're going to crumble from the start. If you are dominative and you treat your woman like an object, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay? And the reason I say that, the reason I'm talking about that, there are men out there that think that they can tell their woman what to do, where to go, what to wear, how to act. That right there is not what I see as a marriage. That is disrespect. And the reason I'm talking about that, people think, a lot of people will say, oh, my woman ain't going to disrespect me. Look, if you're going to talk like that, you're already disrespecting her, because you're not giving her the one element that's going to make a marriage work. I have 5 elements that I'm going to cover today that make a marriage work. Okay? 1 being trust. As I said last week, trust is one of the biggest things that makes a marriage work, that makes a marriage what it is, that makes a marriage become something, more of itself than just, oh, he's married to her, so, he's in control. The man does not control the marriage. Okay? The man is a leader, but the woman doesn't have to follow. Okay? I don't want to get in the situation where I'm going, boy, he done told her what to do, and Lord have mercy, she just following him. She ain't got no say about nothing. It's crazy, because I know what's going on. He just tells her what to do, and she just follows her like him, like a little butterfly with puppy dog. That's not what I'm talking about. It's got to be on equal terms. And when you tell a woman that you trust her, don't tell her that, hey, Michael, how you doing, brother? And then all of a sudden, you're going to check up on her all 5 minutes. Let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. What were you doing? Where are you going? You want to ask her where she's going? Fine. Ask her and trust her and understand that what she says is what she means. Now, women, on the same token, trust your husbands. Now, I say this, I will trust you until you give me a reason not to. And in marriage, as I said before on last week's show, the top 2 things that break a marriage apart are sex and money. And the problem is, where you find the breakdown is, men want it more than most women most of the time after you get married and after you get past what is called the honeymoon stage. I want to say this. The honeymoon stage should never leave. It may fade, but the honeymoon stage should never leave. So we talked about trust. Now we're going to talk about leadership today in a little bit different light. Leadership to me is trusting your wife and believing in what she says and leading by example. When you have a disagreement, you don't scream at the top of your lungs. You don't yell at her and make her feel 2 inches tall. And women vice versa. You don't need to, well, you did this last week, you're going to just do it again. I know what's going to happen. You told LaWanda that she was pretty, and I think you think she's prettier than me. See, no, you don't need all that. You don't need all that stuff. If you're going to sit there and you're going to bash each other back and forth, that's not leadership. That's not communication, and that's not marriage. That is crumbling structure. So you're starting to crumble the structure before anything hits. And in this right now, sex is not a one-way street. It can't be a one-way street. Okay? Men can do it by themselves. Women can do it by themselves. That is not, it is, but it isn't. And what I mean by that is, when you look at life and you look at marriage and you look at a couple, a man and a woman, there has to be a union together. There has to be communication together. There has to be things together that are not just like, you're not just sitting there talking about what you think is good. Okay? There has to be communication on both parts. There has to be compromise on both parts. And the reason for that is, without compromise and understanding, you're not going to get anywhere. You cannot sit there and say, this is what you're going to do, and that's it. That can't be all of it. You can't just stop and dictate how it's going to go. Sex is one of the most amazing things in marriage that there can be. But it's not the only thing. It's not all there is. So please understand when I say this. In marriage, there has to be life. But if there's not communication and understanding, marriage is dead. Because it's only one way. And marriage doesn't work as a one-way street. I hope everybody is still with me. I'm not seeing a lot of comments, and I'm seeing the numbers fluctuate. So I believe that marriage has to be wholehearted. Now, I said two things when I went off the air last week, and this is going to be a hard subject for me to cover, so just bear with me. There are things that'll break up a marriage faster than anything in the world. And I'm going to tell you, pornography is one of them. I have been through a lot of things in my life, and I have seen a lot of things in my life. But I'll tell you right now, I have seen marriages get destroyed by porn. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? When you are with your wife, okay, man and woman, and whether men are doing it or women are doing it, if a man is watching porn, okay, you are discrediting your wife. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain why. Because when you are watching that mess, because that's exactly what it is, you are destroying the one you're supposed to love. Because you're not seeing her. You're seeing the visions of those people on TV that you've been watching. And you can say it's not. You can say, oh, I'm thinking about my wife. I'm not thinking about that. that is bull. Because what you are seeing and those visions and those things that are happening are popping in your head to allow you to do what you need to do. Now, some couples will say, well, we watch it together all the time, and it doesn't affect us. I'm telling you, as a person, eventually it will. You have to be very, very careful with that, because when you do that, even together as a couple, you're opening the door for things to get in your marriage that don't need to be in there. And I'm talking about deceit and mistrust and lies and mishandling and lack of communication, because you withdraw inside yourself. You withdraw inside yourself to go to that. You hide from your wife, you hide from your husband, and you disconnect. And when you disconnect from each other, that is the worst thing you can do, because in marriage, when it hits, when that disconnection hits, and trust me, men, they know. They know. I'm telling you, you can destroy everything in a moment. In a moment. It doesn't take much. A marriage takes work and effort and love and respect and honor and trust. That's what the vows are about. To love, honor, cherish, obey. Love, honor, cherish, obey. In sickness and in health, till death do us part. If you're watching pornography to get it done, how are you honoring your wife? Well, I tell her about it. Well, how do you think that makes her feel? And if you got, CP on top of it, she already feels bad, like maybe she's not getting the job done, and now you're going to do this? Come on, people. Use this right here for something besides a hat rack. You got to be smart about this, because I'm telling you, if you want to cause division in your marriage, if you want to get your marriage to end, I'm telling you, do that crap right there. Keep watching it. And think she doesn't know. Think she don't. Okay, that's on you. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because in this world, you see so much violence and so much pain, and so much that it's just on marriages already, because men and women are not communicating, shutting down from each other and running when they should be running to each other and not away from each other. I'm going to tell you guys a story about sex and marriage. Okay? And I'm very open here, and I'm going to share this because I need to. I was 22, 23, getting out of college. I started dating a 21-year-old, and I was swept up on cloud nine. I was young and impressionable. I was skinny and muscular. I worked out, played football. I looked good, felt good. Thought I was on top of the world. And I met her, and we started talking. And right off the bat, one of the first things I did wrong was I started sharing things that I never should have shared. I started going into detail about things that I never should have went into detail about. And I baited her in. She was in a wheelchair too. She had spina bifida. And I mean, that first 3 months was hot and heavy. Okay? And I didn't wait. We had sex before marriage. One of the worst things you can do is have sex before marriage, because that is something that is so intimate and so personal and so so lovely and so passionate that when you do it before you got that ring on her finger, and you do it before you are marriagely connected by God, that's one of the worst things you can do. But we did it, and we did it a lot. Okay, so understand this happened, and I'm like, what in the world's going on, and why? And all these things are happening. And in the first 8 months, man, we were just hot and heavy and dating and going everywhere and doing everything. And I'm just like, man, this is perfect. This is it. So within the first year we dated, I bought the ring. I said, okay, I did it. This is the person I'm going to be with. I gave her my heart. This is the person I'm going to be with. This is what I'm going to do. We communicated. Everything was good. And then all of a sudden, I noticed. I started meeting the family. And I started getting put down. And I started, to my face, they were great. Oh, you're wonderful, and this, that, and the other. But I would go in the other room and I would hear them talking that you're not a doctor, and he's not a doctor. He's not a lawyer. He doesn't make a lot of money. Why do you want him? Why don't you find somebody better than him? So they were already planting that seed of destruction. They were already planning all that stuff and saying all this stuff, and they kept going. And she started believing it. And we continued to date for 2, 3, 4 years and everything. And we talked and we talked. And I thought the communication was great. But what was happening was I was talking to a brick wall. Because she had shut down. And I had convinced myself that I could make someone love me. Let me explain this real quick. In marriage and in life and in everything that you do, you cannot make someone love you. It's either there or it's not. You cannot make someone love you. So I proposed. I mean, I did the whole thing, restaurant, rose petals, and all this, and just, I mean, got the ring and the whole 9 yards, and dress suit and tuxedo and all. And she took the ring, but she said, I'm not going to marry you right now. I said, okay. I said, that's fine. I'll wait. Here's the problem. If it's true love and it's supposed to be, the marriage is going to happen, and it needs to happen. If you don't find a way to communicate and know, like I said, you cannot make someone love you. It does not happen that way. People will tell you that they have been together for 15 and 20 years and haven't gotten married because it's just a piece of paper. I'm telling you here today, folks, marriage is not just a piece of paper. Again, this is my opinion. You don't have to support it, and I understand if you don't. In life, you have two choices. You can go forward. Actually, you have three. You can go forward, you can go backwards, or you can stay where you are. With sex and marriage, you have to move forward every day. You have to talk every day. You have to tell your woman that you love her every day. You have to tell your man that you love him every day. Don't ask why. Don't ask why do I need to tell? Because they need to hear it. They need reassurance. I want you to think about it this way. Say you patch up a window, or you put caulking in a window, and you seal that window from water damage. If you don't check on that seal every so often, eventually that seal will rupture and water will start coming in that window. You may have to patch it again or replace the whole window and make sure that it's airtight. Think about marriage in the same aspect of saying, this is what's going on. You have to understand and know that women need reassurance. It's not insecurity. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's reassurance. They need to feel loved, and they need to feel like they are the greatest thing on the face of the earth. And you know what? Men need it too. Don't let that macho crap come in. I'm a man. I don't need it. I know what I want. I know what you need. I love you too. And don't be trying to say, don't even play that like you don't need it, like you don't want it. I've heard somebody say, men don't cry. Bull crap. Men cry. I cry. I get emotional. People can say I'm a baby. People can say I wear my heart on my sleeve. People can say all that stuff. That's fine. That's fine. Say it if you want to. But I'm telling you how it is and how I see it in the world. And why marriages fail is because there's not enough of this and there's too much of this. What I mean by that is men think they got to be so hard. Man, you ain't going to tell me how to feel. I don't feel nothing. I'm a man. I'm strong. I know what to do. You don't know jack. That's why you're sitting there with no job and living with your mom. There has to be a point where you take the walls down. See, women put up walls. Women put up walls. Oh, you ain't getting in here. I'm ducking and moving and junking and driving. You ain't getting in here. No. Look, them walls are going to break. And for marriage to work, them walls have to come down. Look, guys, I'm telling you like it is because it's true. When you barricade yourself in a corner, you're going to cut yourself off. And if you cut yourself off, your marriage is doomed from the start. I want to talk about sex itself because it needs to be talked about. Sex is not the only thing in a marriage. Let me say that right off the bat. Sex should not. I don't think sex should be number one in a marriage. Let me tell you why. Because there are other ways to show your wife that you love her or show your man that you love him other than sex. Now, I am a man and I have needs, and there are those times when the hormones are through the roof and everything is just, I got to have it now. I mean, you're just like, oh my God, I'm going to explode. I can't stand it. There are those times, and it happens, okay? But women, let me tell you, women get that way too, and that's okay. But here's what I want to bridge, guys, and here's what I want you to see, ladies and gentlemen. Sex can be just as beautiful by touching a woman's face than touching other parts of her body. Sex can be just as beautiful with a kiss on the lips as it can in lovemaking. Sex can be touching a thigh or a knee or running your fingers through her hair. See, there are things that you do that can drive a woman wild that don't involve the act of sex. And if you do it right, oh boy, will she melt. How often do you sit and look at your wife and admire her beauty? How often do you sit there and say, good God almighty, oh, could eat her up like a Hershey bar. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on now. Somebody say something. I mean, am I telling the truth or no? How often does your woman come in the room wearing a $300 dress that she bought from somewhere, and the first words out of your mouth is, how much money did you pay for that dress? When what you should be saying and what you should be talking about is, hot dang, do you look good? But no, see, men are so concerned about where the money's going, and that woman done took time to get in that thing. She done put the makeup on. She done put the daggone highlights on her eyebrows and whacking. Women go through a lot of stuff to get beautiful. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Women go through stuff that y'all ain't never seen. I mean, I saw some stuff. I mean, pedicures and manicures and hair done and dresses and girdles and makeup and eyeshadow and lipstick. Men talking about something, put some suit pants on, put some shoes on, get your hair cut, comb it over, and that's it. But here's the thing. It don't got to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, in the bed, get it here, all that, and it's done. No, you gotta make sure that she is just as sexy outside of the bedroom as she is in the bedroom. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You gotta make sure that when you love your wife, you love her in all facets. And women, when you love your husband, damn, excuse me, darn, baby, you've been working out. What's going on? I mean, you know, some they like that. You know, have you lost weight? And don't just ask it just to get something. Don't just ask it just to get something. Be real with it. Be real with it to the point that you got to understand that it's true. Because look, if you speak from here, if you speak from right here, you can't go wrong. When you tell the truth and when you're honest, that's another one. So trust was one. Honest. When you were honest with your wives and with your husband, you were going to get so much more accomplished from the get-go. Trust and honesty, a fine line, but the two are very different. Understanding. That's number 3. Understanding. Understand that people are going to make mistakes. Now, I'm not just talking about cheating. I'm not just talking about lying. I'm not just talking about porn. I'm talking about mistakes. I'm talking about, honey, did you get the eggs at the store? No, baby, I forgot. No, that's a mistake. Okay, things happen. Honey, did you pick up the dry cleaning? No, I got busy and I didn't get a chance. I came home from work and I was tired. Okay, that's a mistake. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Yes, and you should. That is great. Mike said, I always tell her she's beautiful. That right there will get you brownie points that the Lord, woo, boy. Y'all get me fired up in here now. We starting to get comments now. See, I like this. I don't believe that there should be a day that goes by that you don't walk over and plant a kiss on your lady and say, honey, I love you more than anything. You mean the world to me. That is valuable. When she makes a mistake or when he makes a mistake, I don't understand why, mistakes are held. It just changes. You cannot hold a mistake against somebody to use it against them later. That is one of the worst things that you can do at a point where it becomes, routine. The object is not to hold somebody against you. The object is not to hold a mistake. The object is to learn from it. And it's one of those things that it just hurts when you hold against somebody or when you go against somebody. It just hurts when you hold a mistake and you don't let it go and you keep throwing it in somebody's face. Respect.
respect, trust, honesty, respect. That's number 3. I understand that mistakes happen, but it's got to be one of those things that you say, look, I know this happened, but can we talk about it? You know, I needed you to get the milk because of this. I asked you to pick our son up because I was doing this. Don't go in there like you're trying to tell somebody that oh, you're the worst person in the world. Don't make them feel 2 inches tall. Trust, honesty, respect, trust, honesty, understanding, respect. Understand that things happen. Now, I'm not saying be a doormat now. I'm not saying be a doormat. So understand right now that this is the truth. Don't be a doormat. If your husband mistreats you and does stuff that he ain't supposed to, and he keeps doing it, and you've been married for ever how long, Lord have mercy. Sometimes, and I'm going to be real, sometimes you got to go. I hate to say it. But sometimes you got to pack your bags and let him see, look, you ain't going to treat me right, I'm out. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I know divorces happen in this world, but I think they happen the wrong way. Divorces don't have to be nasty. Sometimes people do grow out of love, and that's okay. But when you're honest and you trust and you understand, you respect and you talk about it and you're real, and it becomes something that is powerful, and look, sometimes it just happens, and that's okay. That's okay. Everything doesn't work out the way you want it to. And you know what? God sees that too. And if you don't think he does, look in the word, because it talks about being unevenly yoked. And I'm going to talk about that for the last little show, but I'm going to save that because I want to get, so we got trust. We got, goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. I done lost my train of thought. Shoo. I just, trust, communication, understanding, respect. And we got number 5. Love. Love. Love is a word that gets thrown around a lot. Hey, Jody, how are you, sweetheart? Love is a word that gets thrown around in this world like it means nothing. Trying not to get emotional. I'm sorry. People play with emotions, and they play with heartstrings, and they play with that word like it means nothing. Like it's just, I can't tell you enough. Love is so important, but it has to be real. You can't fake love. You can try. You can go through life and you can think that love is real, and you can have that, what they call that honeymoon stage. But once reality sets in, like I said earlier in the show, the honeymoon stage should never leave. It may fade a little bit, and it may get all the way down to right here, but you got to spark it back up. Go to the store and buy your wife some flowers, not on her birthday, not on her anniversary, not on Christmas, not on Valentine's Day, but on Tuesday. Do it because she's worth it. Do it because he's worth it. Go and buy him a watch, some aftershave, some socks, some underwear, something, and do it on a Tuesday. Don't do it on a holiday. Show him that he means the world to you. Show him. And if he doesn't treat you like it, and he doesn't love you like you should be loved, and you know that you're not getting the right treatment, you got to go. When you've tried and you've tried and you've tried and you keep beating a dead horse, it doesn't work. It does not work. Sometimes you've got to call it. And that's got to be okay. People have got to realize that love is two-sided. Love goes here. Love doesn't go to the left. Love doesn't go to the right. It is two-sided. To love is to trust, honor, understand, respect. That's love. That's what makes it real. That's what makes the pieces fit. And when the pieces don't fit, you can't force them. You can't force them. I think that if, a lot of people go to marriage counseling, and that's a good thing. Marriage counseling should happen between the beginning all the way to the end, because there's always things that are hidden even though you don't realize it. Always have someone to talk to, and I don't mean your best friend that you've known since third grade that's going to take your side even if you steal from the cookie jar. I'm talking about a licensed counselor, somebody that you can talk to that is not going to be judgmental or biased. You've got to make sure that they're unbiased and that both will agree to go. Now, we talked about being a leader earlier. Sometimes the women take the leadership role. And men, if they take that role, you got to understand they are doing what's right. And you've got to love them, honor them, respect them, cherish them, and know that the value they're taking to show you what they're doing, it is that. They are taking the role themselves and making the move. So if you're going to do it, you're not going to lead by example. Your wife is going to do it, and she's going to be in the driver's seat. And you know what? That's going to be okay. And you can either follow or go. There's a sense of reality that sets in with marriage. I've been married 4 years, and it's tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It's work. I said it before. I said it on the last show. Marriage is work. But every day, I tell my wife I love her, even if I don't get it back. Not saying that I don't. Don't get me wrong. I tell my wife she's beautiful, even if I don't get it back. Not saying that I don't. I tell my wife she's worth it, even if I don't get it back. I want you folks to realize this, and I cannot say this enough. When you talk, look at each other. Don't speak in anger. Speak out of love. And understand that you're going to get through it. And if you can't get through it, you have to come to the realization of what you need to do next. You don't need to sit there and take abuse and take verbal, because abuse is not only physical. Abuse is verbal, mental, physical, spiritual, all of it. All of it plays in. And abuse can wreck a relationship and a marriage so fast that it will go down quicker than a Titanic. Folks, I can promise you, as God is my witness, I don't want to hurt anybody. But when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if you can come to that realization as a couple and realize that you're going to help each other by not being together because you work better as friends than married couples, sometimes you've got to do that. And that is a hard, harsh reality, but sometimes it happens because people marry too quick. They hear, I love you, and it's boom, it's done. I love you is not just a word, it's a truth. I love you is not just a phrase. It is something that is a connection that cannot be explained. I love you is not just 3 words that should be thrown out like waffles and pancakes. I love you is it. Another thing, look, sex and dating. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now, worst thing you can do. Trust me, I know, I've done it. When you are with somebody and you have sex with someone and you've done that ultimate act, sex to me is the ultimate act of love. Sex to me is the connection that you can't get no closer. Now, I ain't trying to be funny. I'm trying to be real. You have got to know that it is the ultimate peace. It is the ultimate communication, the ultimate connection. It is the ultimate nut and bolt of marriage. And when that occurs and you're dating and then you leave, you got what you want and you go, no. Listen to me. Listen to me. Please, I'm begging you. You cannot treat each other that way. You have to value her. You have to value him. You have to know that in this point, in this life, all this crap that's going around, there's so much stuff, negative. You got to turn it around, and you got to be positive with yourself and with each other. And you got to be real. And it's hard sometimes because, men, I know you want it. Heck, I want it. Sometimes it doesn't happen. You know what? Move on. Move on. Sometimes it's one of those things where you go, man, I just want to get it and go. No. That's why they call it making love. Because it is a connection that lasts a lifetime. It is a connection that lasts a lifetime. And if you do that connection before you're married, 9 times out of 10, you're doomed to fail. Now, I don't know what this show is going to do for some of you, but you've got to know that there has to be a point where you take control. There's got to be a point where you be a real man and say, you know what? You're worth the wait. I will marry you, and then, and only then, will it happen. The value of her is like a star. You reach as far as you can, but it's always too far. The star shines and never does fall, because a star that truly shines is a star after all. What that basically means is there is one out there. There's one true one out there. Sometimes there's 2, and sometimes there's 3, and sometimes you marry until you get it right. I can't say whether I agree or disagree with that, because it's something that, you know, people do. You know, they throw the marriage in there so fast, or they get married too quick. They don't value what they have and they don't look at what they've got, they don't go through and they don't communicate and go through marriage counseling before you get married. You've got to make sure that she is the one that you want. You've got to know her. You've got to feel her. You've got to, I can't even explain it. Sometimes, man, you're sitting there at 3 and you just want to talk to her and you can't get enough because she is part of you. She's part of you. And I'm going to tell you right now, when she sees that she's part of you and the only part that you need to go through life together, you are going to succeed. Guys, I'm going to leave the last 10 minutes open for any questions that anybody wants to ask, any comments that anybody wants to leave. I hope this show was as valuable as the last one. I hope that people got something out of this, because I did this. This was a hard one for me, because I don't like broaching those subjects, because it's tough. It's really tough. Having a disability is bad enough, but having a disability on top of being married and really being communicative and really being connected with each other, that is tough. When you can do that, and when you can go through life that way, when you can give yourself to your wife as your all and hold nothing back, and vice versa, when the husband can do the same and the wife can give to him her all, and they can truly connect. That is what marriage is. That is what love is. It is the true and honest connection where nothing comes between you. If anybody has any questions or anything that they want to say or they want to comment on, right now is the time to ask them. Please ask them. Ask them. If you want to ask me something, ask me, because I want to get a chance to answer it. I've got 9 minutes left, 9, and I want to try to get this out. I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you very much. I don't want to leave you guys with information that you can't use. I want you to be able to take it home today and apply it to your everyday life. You've got to value her as the diamond that she is. Keep her shiny. Keep her protected. Keep her loved. Keep her valued. Honor her. Cherish her. Respect her. Don't belittle her. That is the worst thing you can do. When you belittle your wife or your husband, it is disconnection that you're causing, not connection. Understand that there has to be truth in everything that is happening. And sometimes the truth is hard to hear, but you got to heal. Don't go to bed angry. Communicate with each other. Walk away before you get angry and process it and come back. Don't leave and get all mad. Take time to figure out what you want to do, what you want to say. You've got to be able to make it real for her and for him, because remember, there are two of you, and marriage involves connection. Marriage involves true connection. And if you don't have true connection, it's not working. Guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to thank everybody for the comments and listening to the show. Please share it. I will be back again next week with another show. I don't know if I'm going to do another marriage and sex and marriage. I think I'm gonna close it with this. I hope everybody has had a great time with me today. Thank y'all for tuning in. You can email me at the sportsmanuradioshow@yahoo.com. You can email me at carterdj85@gmail.com. You can see this show on Facebook Live and Let Go Radio. We were on Let Go Radio today, but we did have a couple of technical difficulties, so we were mainly on Facebook. You can see this on YouTube at My CP Does Not Define Me. Please subscribe. Thank you guys for all of your comments and questions that I've gotten through emails and all of that. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Michael, for being in, man. I really appreciate it. It was awesome having you. Michelle, thank you for joining me. Jody, thank you for joining me. All the others that have come in and joined, thank you so, so much. I really appreciate you guys. I cannot do this show without you. It means so much to have you as part of this and, to submit those questions. And thank you again to Miss Jamie for allowing me to host on Cerebral Palsy Sunrise. I love you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If you cannot be good, be bad, but be good at it, I will see you guys next week, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be yet. I'm tussling a couple things to find out exactly what I want to have and how I want to go with it. I hope this shows a lot of you some things that you haven't seen before. Dig into it. Go back and watch the show. And most importantly, hey Jill, thank you so much. Most importantly, guys, with the last 5 minutes I got, pray. If you don't know the answer to something, if you want to seek the answer to something in your marriage, in your life, pray. Because that is the real answer. That's the real answer to the question you don't know. And some people are afraid to do it, and some people are afraid to look to God and listen to his voice and try to find it. Because he may not give you the answer that you want, but he's always going to give you the right one. So make sure that you pray and you seek him and open up the word. And you know what? You want to do something together? Read the word together. Read to each other. Pray together for each other, about one another. Learn from one another. If you pray with each other and you take the time to love one another in that way through God's knowledge, then you're going to get it right. Okay? I don't know all the answers. I can't give them to you. I can answer a question to the best of my ability because you know what? I'm human and I have needs and wants and I make mistakes just like everybody else. But understand that in today's world, just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that you can't learn from it. You can learn from it. But when you hear the answer, go with it. Don't question it. When you hear the answer, go with it. Don't question it. So many people have the answer right in front of them and they don't take it because they question it. Am I doing the right thing? Sometimes you got to go with what your heart tells you because it's God speaking to you. But if you choose not to listen to him, you're on your own. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me on this hour of My CP Does Not Define Me. I thank everybody again for tuning in. Check me out on YouTube, Facebook Live, www.letgoradio. You can also find me on the Dennis Carter profile, the DJ Carter profile. My CP Does Not Define Me. Please email me. Let me know what you want to talk about. I love hearing from you guys. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away saying I will see you next week at 2 o'clock Eastern for episode 11 of My CP Does Not Define Me. Thank everybody for tuning in. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate you being part of the show. Couldn't have done it without. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Jill. Thank you so much. Glad that you got on. Some of you I know came on at the very end. I'm actually going to do a 2-hour show next week. I'm not going to do it. I don't know if I can do it on Let Go Radio, but I've got a 2-parter, and I'm going to try to get it all in. I don't know if I'm going to do it in 2 episodes or 1, but I'm titling it Strength with CP. I wasn't going to tell you the topic, but I'll go ahead and do it. Strength with CP is next week. I will be broadcasting from my page, DJ Carter, next week, so please be sure to tune in. I won't be broadcasting on Cerebral Palsy Sunrise next week. I've done that twice in a row now, so I will be on my page. But thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will talk to you soon. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.